Well, I did this last year, so this is my second year. I'm Haley, by the way. If you can't read, I don't know how you got into college. So I did this last year. I'm not going to tell the same story because I think that would be boring. So I'm sorry if you didn't get to hear it last year. It mostly just covered kind of like the 4 years in high school that I had. It was kind of more like a stereotypical coming out monologue story. But to summarize that up for you guys, just so if anybody doesn't really know me, I wanted to kind of give a brief overview. That was kind of the point of last year's monologue, is that I'm really, really gay. Thank you. That took a lot of. I was practicing all night. Yeah, so that was my previous coming out monologue. I also made people cry last year. I'm not going to do that this year, hopefully. So I wanted to kind of talk about the last year, in between this monologue and last monologue. So obviously, I spent last year here at TCNJ, and I got more involved with the PRISM, e-board, PRISM itself, the community, the queer community, which if you are not a part of, is an incredibly accepting community. And not only is it accepting if you're LGBT or T, it's very accepting if you're not one of those things. For example, you could be an asexual, genderqueer person with 3 partners and a pony play kink, and we would still accept you and prize your differences and say that you're welcome here and we love you. And props to anybody who knew what all of those things were that I just said. We also cherish people who don't necessarily have an identity to tag themselves. Because saying, I am, is really difficult. Mostly because it comes with this just idea that it's supposed to apply to who you were, who you currently are, and who you will be in the future. So if I say, I am gay, that's saying, I have always liked women, only. I currently only like women, and I will in the future only like women. Which is a very narrow box to be put into. Also, I don't even know what classes I'm taking next semester, so that's kind of difficult. But what's easier to do is to say, I like, or I think, or today I feel, or I want, or I'm attracted to. Those are kind of in the moment things which, define yourself, but in smaller, more easy to handle packages. And in PRISM, we like those. Like, for example, I would identify as lesbian, but if I was walking down the street and I, said to the person next to me, that guy is really hot and I'm super attracted to him. If it was a PRISM friend, they'd probably be like, yeah, we think he's real cute too. They wouldn't be like, wow, you're a lesbian, you're not allowed to do that. Or, for example, I identify as female, but, one day I might dress femininely, the next day I might dress more androgynously like I am today, or I might say, today I feel really masculine and I want to wear boys' clothes and boxers and I want to cut my hair shorter than it already is. And that's okay too. I don't have to stop identifying as female to say those things, which is really, really awesome environment to be in. It's really conducive to self-growth, self-exploration. You can say these things and not have to identify them or label them or say, this is constant. This is something I'm going to feel from now on. Which is really, really awesome. So this is the environment that I've been in for a year. So now, change to the storytelling part of this monologue. So within the last year, I've been in this environment, and I got a girlfriend towards the end of my first semester, which makes sense, lesbian, girlfriend, that all makes sense to pretty much everybody. And then a couple months later, we stopped dating, which was okay. It was fine. It was a really nice relationship, and I was glad that I had it. And then a little while later, I started dating this guy, and his name is Micah, and I'm still currently dating him. And elephant in the room, lesbian dating a guy. A little weird. It's okay. I'll explain. So originally, when I met Micah, his name was Micah, I met him as MJ. And he was a female-identified lesbian, which made kind of more sense at the moment. It was like, oh, I'm attracted to you. You make sense for my sexuality. Your identity makes sense is why I'm attracted to you. And eventually, once I start, getting to know Micah, I realized that no, he's not quite female. He's actually more genderqueer, which is really hard to explain, but it kind of is like someone doesn't necessarily feel completely male or completely female. They're somewhere in the middle. He'd also identify as transmasculine. He'd identify somewhere on the gender, transgender spectrum. For a while, he completely identified as male. So, all over the place. I actually remember having this conversation. Oh, for the sake of this monologue, I'm just going to keep saying he is boyfriend, even though a lot of times I'll switch back and forth. But I remember actually asking him about his pronouns, because that's kind of like a thing you do when you know someone doesn't have a real set gender identity. You want to make sure you're respecting them. So I asked him, I was like, what pronouns do you want me to use? Do you want me to call you boyfriend or girlfriend? What's your comfort level? And he very specifically said, I don't like that question because I don't know how to answer. He knows that he doesn't like the word they, he doesn't like ze or zir, which are all gender neutral pronouns. But he never knows what to ask people to use, whether he or she, because a lot of times he feels feminine, especially in work, they call him MJ, and they refer to him as her, and he'll tell stories, and he'll be talking about this old black lady that he works with, and this black lady's like, girl, and everybody will just do that with MJ, and he told Micah, and he totally accepts it, he loves it, and that's a big part of him, and he's just very somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. Lots of times, he looks like a bro. If you see him, he just looks like a bro. He does, I swear, I'm not even kidding. Just bro, he'll wear he used to lift 150 when he was in high school. He wears baseball caps sideways. But then he also really likes Hello Kitty. He has Hello Kitty stickers on his name tag for work. I actually sent him Hello Kitty tattoos, semi-permanent tattoos in the mail, and he really liked them. So that sort of a thing. But when I started dating him and I started telling people, I'm dating this guy, his name is Micah, yeah. People would kind of look at me funny and they'd be like, were you gay? I thought, weren't you that raging lesbian that I met last semester? Boyfriend? And, I kind of was like, yeah, boyfriend. And eventually people started asking me, does that mean that your identity has changed? Does that mean that your sexual identity has changed at all? That sort of a thing. And I thought about it and I said, well, I could still identify as a lesbian and just confuse people who think that they know what a lesbian is, because in fact lesbians can date men, and oftentimes they do. Or I could identify as bisexual, I could identify as pansexual, I could identify as a million other things that would possibly make more sense to people. But I kind of thought about it, and I was just like, I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me, because when I talk to Micah, I'm not attracted to his pronouns. I'm not, I don't instantly get a boner the second he dresses like a dude. Or I don't, just become uber sexually attracted the second he starts dressing femininely or uses female pronouns. That's not a thing. I'm not attracted to his gender identity. I'm attracted to him. Emotionally, sexually, I'm attracted to the fact that he makes me laugh. I'm attracted to the fact that he's ridiculous and outlandish and absurd. So I'm attracted to those things. So I kind of decided that if anybody asks me, I'm just going to tell them, I don't know and I don't care. I don't know what my sexuality is. I really don't care. Honestly, I don't need a word for it. It's really hard to pick a word that is going to describe everyone who I'm ever going to be attracted to. And if I wanted, I could write a 1,000-word essay about it. And maybe after 1,000 words, I would put into one essay everyone I'm ever going to be attracted to. But that just sounds like such an effort to, define something that doesn't really need to be defined. If I'm attracted to somebody that's awesome, cool, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of my coming out story, is me saying that my sexuality is way too complicated for me to even bother figuring out. But mostly right now I'm just identifying with the fact that I'm happy, and that I have a relationship and I have an awesome boyfriend.